Welcome. My name is Sue Gilman. I am the director of the Atlanta Shambhala Center. And I have the pleasure of talking with Dr. Gaylon Ferguson. Gaylon has been a practitioner and a teacher of Buddhism for many years and has recently, in the last year, retired after 15 years as a professor at Naropa University, yeah, right. I should know that. So welcome, Gaylon. We just wanted to take a few minutes. Gaylon agreed to have a chat with me for a few minutes to talk about the Shambhala Training Level 1 that he will be presenting on Zoom through the Atlanta Shambhala Center coming up the end of this month. So I thought maybe because level 1, people who are taking level 1 are at the beginning stage of the Shambhala training path. So will you just, in a couple of seconds, give us a view of what Shambhala training is altogether?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Shambhala training is a training in bravery, and it consists of a series of weekends beginning with level 1, 2, 3, 4, up to a level 5. And they use mindfulness meditation practice, and there are talks and discussion groups. And it's very much a teaching for our time, which is a time in which there's a lot of fear of each other, fear of things going on in the world. Now we're in the midst of this pandemic, fears about all kinds of things around that as well. So in such a time, it's very important to have a way to strengthen our own inner bravery so that we can meet those challenges, not turn away from them or pretend that they're not there. So it's very much about developing a kind of courage and strength and gentleness, first in relation to ourselves. We do individual mindfulness meditation practice, mindfulness awareness practice, and then also with the group of people doing it with us in conversations, and we go along together that way. And the idea is that the qualities that we grow, in a sense, over the weekend, like a garden and gardening, will continue in our everyday life. When we're back to work on Monday or in the rest of our life, we want to cultivate these qualities so they can spread, communicate, and be shared with others.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay. And so level 1 then is the beginning. It's called The Art of Being Human. So give us a sense of what that looks like.
Yes. And it's a kind of interesting phrase, isn't it? The art of being human. We are human already. So why do we need an art? In this case, art just means a way of doing something artfully with gentleness and care, not just making music but the practice of meditation in this case is something that brings out our human heartedness. The great writer Toni Morrison said, the human project is to remain human and to resist the dehumanization of others. So we're both cultivating our own humanity and trying to make situations that are human for others as well. We talk about the humane society. So it isn't even just how, of course it applies to how we treat other human beings, but even any living being, that kind of gentleness and compassion can be extended. So it very much has to do with the time that we live in, and I'm going to look at this book called Shambhala. There is a basic human wisdom that can help to solve the world's problems. So level 1 is the introduction to that wisdom, which we call basic goodness. And it's not that you get the basic goodness once you complete the level 1. It's that basic goodness has been there all along in our life, in how our parents were with us and our family, sisters and brothers, cousins, our communities, our neighbors. In the best instances, what they shared with us was some sense of human. We say, oh, that person has a really good heart. And I don't think that's anything other than what we're talking about. It's not something special or, higher or whatever, just ordinary human goodness, kindness, gentleness that everybody could recognize wherever we are. We're talking about bringing that out and strengthening that and cultivating that over the course of the weekend in such a way that, again, we can bring that into our everyday life.
Yeah, thank you. I know that sometimes that whole notion of basic goodness, we tend to think it's something that we have to get. Mm-hmm. And I think Trungpa Rinpoche emphasizes again and again and again, as you just said, it's something that we already have.
Yes.
Right. So so level one is the beginning of discovering that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so what can people expect in the course of the 2 days?
Yeah. So I think we'll begin on Saturday morning with talking about just what we've brought up so far of, the current state of our world and what kind of fears that people have and what draws them into this situation where we're talking about courage, bravery, some kind of being strong enough to return kindness. Just a conversation about that. And then I'll give meditation instruction and we'll practice that. 10, 15 minutes of meditation. We do that seated in a chair or on a cushion or a couch. Then we have periods of walking meditation as well, mindfulness of the body walking. So anybody can do this. It's ordinary walking, ordinary sitting. And then we'll probably have at some point some small groups, breakout groups, to have conversations about our experience and what brings us to this. We also have one-to-one meetings with meditation instructors like myself and myself, just one-to-one, because each person, of course, has her or their experience. And so just going through that a little bit, one-to-one, just 10 minutes or something, just a conversation, and then come back together toward the end of the day, both on Saturday and on Sunday, to talk again about these principles of basic goodness and how we can, in a sense, go along with our own goodness. In a sense, we can lose track of it or lose touch with it. We sometimes say, I'm not feeling myself. I don't feel like myself. I'm not sure if I woke up on the wrong side of the bed or whatever it might be. So in a way, we're talking about a path, a step-by-step way of each day attuning ourselves more and more to our own basic humanity and living from that point of view rather than living from the point of view of just fear, and which tends to make us kind of narrow and, shrink in a certain kind of way. This leads to a more expansive, open way of being in the world, which takes some strength nowadays. It's a challenging time for all of us.
Yeah, it really is. So, great. Thank you. I'm so glad that we're going to have the opportunity to do this at this particular time in our world. Mm-hmm. It's been a while since we had a level one in Atlanta. So we're very grateful to you for being willing to do this with us. And we're really looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to as well. I hope people can join us. I think it's important in our time to gather together, even online in this way, and strengthen ourselves to put our best foot forward in a certain way in terms of how we are in family and work and all the situations of our life.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you, Gaylon.
Thank you, Sue. See you soon.